All right, so we're all set. Let's do this. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to my stream. I'm Pierre, your host. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I know that I did. I enjoyed myself not doing anything. I think it went a little bit too fast, honestly. I almost took the today off, but at the same time, I wanted to keep working on this painting. So here we have it. So usually we start off our show, as you know, we always go to the computer. We check out a little bit what we did on the previous day, in this case last Friday, and then we take our day from there. Well, I could show you the quick recap of what we did last Friday, but basically what we did is just put a second coat of this light gray on the background of our painting. Not that exciting, not worth the little detour. So let's get in right now to our main painting. What I'd like to do is just add a little bit of shadowing to the background just to give it some depth, make it a little bit richer. So I'm going to start off with that. Now if that dries quickly, I have the fan on right over there. Hopefully it will dry rather quickly and we can start putting in some plants and getting to the actual meat of our painting. So first of all, I want to make some a little bit darker gray. This painting is going to be all in gray, all black and white and grays. So I'm going to have to juggle around with darker and lighter grays and make sure that I get it right. So I'm going to make a little bit darker gray to put as shadowing. And that is still going to be in the background. On top of that, there's going to be my electromagnetic rings. On top of that, little planets. And then all that is just the background. So anyways, let's get to it. And one thing I'm going to have to be careful is that the paint has a tendency to darken as it dries. I say this basically every stream I do because no matter what color I use, the paint always darkens as it dries. So when you're trying to do a little bit of shadowing, a little variation, well, you have to kind of keep that in mind. So not to make it too dark, always slightly lighter than what you would like it to be when it's totally dry. So that's what I'm going to try to do and keep that in mind as I'm going to make my gray paint. So let's start off with the white. I know the black overwhelms this very quickly, so I am going to be careful. So there we go, a little bit of white. I'm not going to need that much paint because I'm not going to be painting on the shadow. I'm just going to be dabbing it here and there, just to give some sort of a little bit of variation. When the painting is totally done, basically you won't even notice it, or at least it will only be noticed on the subconscious level. Oh, boy, I'm having a hard time taking off today. That's why I kind of forced myself to come in, because I could have very easily just stayed home and taken it easy. Feeling lazy today. I don't know why. But anyways, so what brush am I going to use? I think maybe something like this. I have many brushes. This one looks like a good one for the shadowing, so I'm going to put that to soak right now as I add a little bit of this black paint to my palette. So I'm going to just quickly take a look here at the computer, making sure that I didn't forget to turn on my microphone. I didn't, and that the stream is going the way it should, and it is. So, very good. I'm starting to make a habit of doing that after a few minutes into the show, checking everything out, because I do have a tendency sometimes, because I come in late, or I'm thinking about something else, or someone shows up, we start talking, and you know, I got like 3 cameras I got to deal with, the microphone, the lights, and all that stuff. So I tend to forget sometimes to either turn on the microphone. Once I've forgotten completely to start the stream, so I thought I was streaming live the whole time. Not that it was a big deal, but when I stream and I turn on the stream and we're starting to stream on YouTube, well, my my OBS Streamlabs, it records at the same time. And that is the most important part, because it's with those recordings that not only do I do the recap the next day for what we did today, but it's also those recorded streams I use afterwards to make the movie of the making of the painting I'm working on. So it's kind of important for me to record. So if I forget to turn on the stream, it's not recording, and I work like several hours and I just blow the whole thing. So anyways, so let's mix all this white and black here. I'm just using a little bit of the black. I'm going to bring it in little by little because I know it overwhelms the white very quickly. And like I said, I don't want it to be too dark, because it's going to be, this whole painting is going to be just variations of grays. So I'm a little bit nervous, to be honest with you, about how all this is going to play out. I've done it before, but still. I'm doing this painting all in grays because I kind of got burnt out from my last painting, which was a lot of colors. I mean, so much colors for like 2 months that I kind of burned out my eyeballs and my brain. So the best way to reset things is to do a painting in grays. There we go. So I added a little more black. It was a little light. Once it's all blended, I'll be able to judge more if this is the right hue or not. Just a little dab of water. So the best way to find out if this is going to be dark, the right kind of shade, I guess, is to test it right away on the canvas. So for that, I'm going to bring over camera number 1. We can check this out together. So just start right here maybe, and zoom in maybe in this area right here. And we can see, let me just switch over to camera number 1. So as you can see, this is basically the same color as my background. So it'll dry, maybe do a whisker darker, but I don't think it's dark enough. So we're just going to add a little more of the black. Try to bring this just in half a shade darker. I had a nice weekend. My son was at home, came back from vacation, getting ready to go back to school. So we watched a lot of sports over the weekend, a lot of soccer, football as we call it here. Basically, follow 4 teams. So that's a lot of football to watch. I mean, I'm living right here in Nice, France. So obviously one of the soccer teams we're watching is Nice. And the other one, since I'm from Paris, is the PSG. I have a love for the Arsenal as well. And my son loves the Barca out of Barcelona. So those are the four teams we basically watch all year round. So let's go back to camera number 1 and let's try this again. So there, slightly darker. Now that is, I don't know if you can really see it. You can see the shine from the light above, but I'm going to zoom in maybe just a little bit more, because I think once this dries, this is going to be perfect. going to darken a little bit more, and that is exactly what we're looking for. So right in this area here, of course it looks wet because I just put it on, and with the light that's above, it just kind of basically shines that way. So just start off right in here where I usually start off. I always work my way from the upper left-hand corner down to the right because I'm right-handed and I don't want to put my hand in the paint. So when I'm starting off a new painting, it's always kind of a pain in the neck because I have to do all these stages first before I can do anything else. And I have to wait for the paint to dry before I can go to the next step. So it's usually very short streams. It's always a drag. Once I start painting, I hate to stop. Anyway, so let's keep going around and round. So I'm down here now. Remember to pull the camera back as well. Oh. This is my concoction of what's it called in English? Easel. There we go. There's my easel here. It's kind of a concoction of, I have a beautiful easel down in the basement of our studios here, but I'm too lazy to go get it. I usually just staple my canvas on the wall and paint right off the wall, so I rarely use the easel. And since I did have these two frames that I stretched, well, I figure why not? I'll use those up. So let's bring this over here. Maybe just zoom in a little bit like that, just so I have something to play around with when I edit the recap for tomorrow. Doing stuff here that you might not even see this because there'll be plants all over the place. Sometimes I have no idea what will be seen, what won't be. All right, so good. Let me pull this bit back. Part that I'm a little worried about because I have a feeling this is not going to be dry for me to continue to work. The whole point of this stream is to basically show everything that goes on in the studio. So before I start streaming, I used to, just paint, and then I'd go and play a video game in my little living room in the back of my studio. And then when the paint was dry, I'd come back and paint again. But since I'm streaming, I can't seem to quite do that. It doesn't work as well. So that's where we're at. Yeah, so my next step would be to paint my plants in here, at least the beginning of the plants. Then when the basic plants are there, then I would finish off the background, my circles, which I call electromagnetic waves. And then on top of that, my little planets and whatnot. So So that is basically what we're done for today. I can't do anything else. I hate it. It's always like that every time I start a new painting, but that's the way it goes. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. You can be sure of that, but still. Anyway, so how long did this last? 12 minutes? I can't believe it. 18 minutes, and that's because I talked a lot as well. But anyways, that's the way it goes. So we'll continue tomorrow, and maybe for the next few days, there'll be short streams, but that's the way it goes. So anyways, I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you'll join me tomorrow for another 10 minutes of streaming or whatever, and hopefully we'll get a lot more done. But anyways, so I wish you all a wonderful day. I'm going to leave you like I always do with two things. I'm going to leave you with my schedule and by saying, ciao mes amis.